Salvation Army. Joining me now from the Queenstown branch, Captain Andrew Wilson. Kia ora, good morning, Merry Christmas.
Morena, how are you?
Yeah, doing very well indeed. It is a busy time of the year, and I know that it's busy for you guys as well. Being busy helping people that are struggling, that's a tough one, but there's also a sense of celebration. I understand you had quite a big weekend.
Yeah, it's been pretty full on down here in Queenstown. We've got different events around Christmas that the Salvation Army is a part of. So just yesterday, the council puts on a Christmas show. It's an amazing event. And for a number of years, we've been the sort of charity of choice for them to support.
Okay.
And so we're out in full show yesterday with our buckets, and we haven't, not sure if people have seen our Shieldy mascot. So yeah, it was a fantastic day. Pretty exhausting, but well worth it.
Essentially, you turn up to a community Christmas event. You're the sponsor. You've got the buckets, of course, right in the middle of the Salvation Army Christmas appeal at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. So it's a fantastic way of sort of having one reflection of the wider Christmas appeal that the Salvation Army is doing at the moment. So right across the country, we're really calling on communities and families and individuals to get behind us at this time of year, especially so that we can continue to do what we do for the most vulnerable towns.
For some people, I mean, hey, when I think of Queenstown, I think party town. This is a resort town that a lot of people will perhaps be planning to spend some time there over Christmas. A wonderful place to be in summer. In terms of the work of the Salvation Army there, we think of it of perhaps Queenstown as quite an affluent community, but is it going to be a tough Christmas for some people in the Queenstown Lakes area?
Oh, absolutely. We are looking at having one of our largest Christmas hamper support Christmases this year. Overall, we've seen need, at least here in Queenstown, rise 15% this year. It really is a town of two halves.
Yep.
There are those who, they've got the mansions, they've got the golf courses, they've got the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
But it's supported by a community who, day in and day out, work as hard as they can to support it, but just aren't making enough to meet the rising cost of living, especially here in Queenstown. And so we see hundreds of people through our doors, or I think it's 1,400 people we've supported in the last year just here in Queenstown.
Yeah, I mean it is a bit of a tough situation, earning perhaps minimum wage or slightly higher in hospitality or tourism businesses, but then having to pay Queenstown rates when it comes to accommodation. A lot of people caught in the gap of those two things.
That's right. We offer food pantries where people can come in and collect some food that's been rescued from supermarkets and restaurants and the likes. And the majority of these people are working one, if not two, jobs just to get by, living in fairly crowded living conditions. And so, you know, the image of Queenstown of being this rich upper class place doesn't tell the full story, especially all the time here in Queenstown.
Yeah, but I suppose it's also the story of many other towns and communities. There are some of us that are doing okay. There are some of us who are making decisions about Christmas. Should we have ham this year or perhaps a barbecue? And other people saying, gosh, I hope that we're going to have enough money at the end of the week to buy the kids a few presents. That is the reality in every town and community around New Zealand.
Yeah, that's right. Especially this year where the cost of living is really pushing a lot of people who wouldn't necessarily need help in the past through our doors. We've seen a lot of first-time people into our doors, and I think that's the same across the country,
Yeah.
where people are feeling a pinch, and that's why we're at the Salvation Army always going to be here to support those who've fallen on tough times.
And it is tough, especially if you're in that space at Christmas time. There's a lot of whakama, there's a lot of perhaps shame associated. Look, I've never had to ask for charity beforehand. I've failed as a parent if I need to get support to help put food on the table or get gifts for my children. And as you say, there'll be people this year, this is the first time that they've found themselves in that space. Talk to that person, Andrew. What would you say to encourage them to take a step and get some help and support that they need?
Yeah, well, For the Salvation Army, we're really looking at being creative this Christmas, not only for ourselves in terms of how we stretch every dollar that's donated to us,
Yeah,
but more broadly creative for the communities that we serve in terms of how we can enable us to all have that sort of vision of Christmas that we desire,
yeah,
but in a way that's accessible for all peoples. We've in the past run Christmas lunches here in Queenstown for those who are away from family, whether they're here on holiday or just by moving here, they're away from family,
yeah.
as a way of building community or having community away from your family or your connections, that space. And it's a great way where even just like potluck lunch with your neighbors or some friends is a way of not necessarily having to shoulder the burden of Christmas alone.
Hmm.
That we are stronger together,
Yeah.
and that by drawing our resources both from an individual community sense, but also from a charitable sense, we can make every dollar stretch that little bit further.
What does Christmas Day look like for you and your team this year, Andrew?
So, along with the Christmas show that we just had in the weekend, we are shaking buckets at a Christmas market that's hosted in town every Saturday leading up to Christmas.
Hmm.
And then our team have done a massive load of mahi getting together with other community agencies here in Queenstown to organise food hampers. So we're looking at supporting well over 100 families or individuals this Christmas with hampers.
Yep.
So they're getting the shopping list sorted. They're getting the Christmas gifts from our supporters like Kmart and others together, so that we can just before Christmas make sure that these hampers get into the right hands and families for here in Queenstown. And that's the same story I know for a lot of Salvation Army centres right across the country.
Hey, if we don't see the red buckets, if we don't get a chance, and perhaps people are saying, oh yeah, I very rarely have cash, but hey, no excuses. We can go to the Salvation Army website, we can give online, we can make blessing somebody else this Christmas part of our celebration, right?
That's right, and what we're really encouraging is people to get together. As we've sort of already spoken about, people are feeling the pinch right across the economic spectrum. But when we get together, whether it's with friends or what we've seen work really well is with colleagues,
Yep.
banding together, doing either a Secret Santa for a family in need, where they give us the gifts,
Yep.
all those sorts of creative ideas where when we draw resources together, again, with either friends or co-workers or neighbors or church members, and then come into the Salvation Army Centre and say, hey, how can we bless you, or how can we use this gifts that we've brought together to support those in need.
I love that
I think it's
idea,
great.
actually, because it is that time of the year. You've got the end of year Christmas parties. How about at your Christmas party this year, or if you're having a morning tea or a lunch break up before you take the Christmas break, how about have a whip round? I mean, we're used to that in Kiwi workplaces. Let's just have a whip round. Each give us their able, whatever we collect, we're taking along to the local Salvation Army to make somebody's Christmas brighter. Absolutely brilliant idea. Of course, salvationarmy.org.nz, more generally for charitable donations to the very good work that you do. But Andrew, thanks. Have a Merry Christmas, and thanks for joining us today.
And to you too. God bless.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.